Hi everyone, great to see you on the webinar. Dinah's going to be looking after the chat. She's going to say hi, Dinah.
Hello everybody, I'm quietening myself now, but I am here.
Great, so just say hi on the chat, tell us where you're from, and we'll get straight into it. Well, we've got lots for you this evening. This is the 5th webinar of a 4-week course. You might think, well, isn't it 5? No, it isn't, because there's 5 webinars and there's 4 weeks in between. This is the very last one. Okay, and this is kind of like a review, give you a few other extra little hints about how to do stuff. And then we're going to review the whole course, and we'll give you news about all of those that you have graduated and got your certificate, which is awesome. Plenty of you, will let you know later on. And also we're going to give you some news about some cool things that are coming up on New Energy Work. We've got some interesting new courses for you coming up. We've got a great event next Tuesday, which we really hope you'll like. So what we're going to do is we're going to just review what we've done over the last 4 weeks. And then what I thought I'd do is I'm just going to give you I'm going to lead you through a self-shiatsu session using some of the techniques that we've explored. And I'm going to tailor it to the group. So I'm going to ask the group some questions. I'm going to get you to tune in very much like you will be doing, or you already are doing, with your clients. Okay, so that's the plan. And I'll just start the slides and just see what we've got next. Okay, so this is 4 weeks, 5 live 1-hour webinars, and this is the last one. Oh, it's been great fun, but we've got loads of new courses coming up. If you go online, if you haven't already done it, you'll find extra stuff, quizzes and stuff like that, and you will be able to get a certificate if you do the quizzes, and if you get through all the others. There's just a few other resources for you to look at to make the course up to 8 notional hours. Okay, and the certificate has the course content on it. It also has the 8 hours credit, and it's also in the course. You'll find a PDF document that you can download to help you submit those hours to your governing body. Okay, so we're going to find out about you at the moment. We've got the polls there. We're going to review modules 1 to 4. The course format, we're going to show you how to find that if you haven't done it already. We're going to find out about you in a minute, because what I'd like to do is base a session around the group. I'll show you how that works in a moment. Let's just find out how many webinars you've done though. So how many of the 4 previous webinars have you done? I'm going to ask you that just to see how many of you have done all of them up to now. And maybe some of you just popped in right at the end, which is fine, by the way, and I'll explain how that can work later. But most of you, look at that. I can't believe that is fantastic. That is like 80% of you have been to all of them. That's really, really encouraging for us working away here to see that kind of to that kind of attendance. That's really good. Just want to check to see whether if any of you haven't seen the online course yet. Have you visited the online course yet? Let's find out. Just see if any of you haven't visited it. And again, look, most of you have. So those of you who haven't, we'll give you a link later on. You can go and check out the other resources and you can graduate. Okay, right, great. So that's terrific. That's really, really very, very encouraging. Okay, great. So let's just keep going. Right, so just the story. Okay, when COVID hit and there was lockdown all over Europe and over much of the world, we worked very, very hard that month. We produced a lot of webinars, quickly getting the Shiatsu world online, teachers and practitioners, and we produced webinars in 6 different languages as well, all in one. It was an intense month, and so this course builds on that intense experience we had, and of course we've learned a lot as we've gone along. We've learned a lot about how to develop these things from our own practical experience, because we're all working online, and I'm sure many of you are by the look of it. Okay, so basically we've introduced the course, we've got introducing your clients, we've talked about creating a class diagnosis system that we've developed, which we're using with a lot of our clients. And then there's also, which I'm going to do on you in a minute, so you'll feel what it's like, how you can create basically a tonifying or a sedating session. We looked at the different technique ranges of loads of different things like stretches, doing, and so on, breathing. And we had a very detailed, we had a whole week on that. We talked about putting a session together. We had a whole session on using these exercise balls to treat the back, which is really cool. Okay, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about how you can maybe get more clients into your online work, because I think a lot of us are finding, I know from talking to people in countries where the lockdown's been lifted, that they get a surge of clients, but a lot of clients, especially the elderly clients, are still not really confident to come back out and to be in the confident coming for sessions. So it looks like even when the lockdown is eased, it's still going to be a very good strategy for Shiatsu practitioners to be able to do distance sessions of one sort or another. Okay, so, and it also gives us a lot of resilience. So if there's a second wave or there's another virus or something, then we'll have all those skills and we can immediately put them into action. Okay, first off, first thing that we discovered as soon as we started doing them is that they really work. These sessions really work. And funnily enough, we often found that we were getting better results than we did with our sessions on the futon. And the reason for that, we identified, and you did as well on that particular webinar. Remember, you as a group got all of these 5 points. One of the things is the clients become much more aware of their own energy awareness. They feel that they can change their energy themselves by doing exercise or self-shiatsu techniques. They can feel the benefits immediately, so they're motivated. They go on to repeat the exercises. And also, if you use something like Zoom and you record it, they have a recording that they can play over and over again. And that's all those things help to make these sessions very, very effective. Now, here's a new slide, okay? Because what we're realizing also is that giving recommendations can be an issue with Shiatsu. Like, what should I do? What should I tell my clients? Well, what we're doing essentially is we are basically practicing how to give very specific recommendations. And hopefully when we go back, we start working face to face, we can take these skills that we've been developing over the last 4 weeks, and we'll be much more precise about giving recommendations, activities, and exercises that engage the client. We can get our clients to self-assess themselves. We can find out whether they're deficient or excess. And we've got a whole logical system behind any recommendations that we give. And I think that's something that's really been worth developing. Okay, when I do distance healing Shiatsu sessions, more on that later. We've got a course coming up, very excited about that. We've got a brand new course coming up that you might like to join. But yeah, when I do that, I usually use just the phone because I don't really want to use visuals. I usually put the phone down. I do the distance session. I did 2 this afternoon, did exactly that, phoned them up, and I did a distance session. But when I'm doing these one-to-one supervisions, I tend to use a video link, and I generally record it and give it to the clients. Okay, and we talked about diagnosis and the fact that you can obviously see the client, you can ask them questions, you can listen to the tone of their voice. The only thing you can't do is actually touch them online, obviously, but you can get around that by getting the client to experience either internally their own energy or by palpating themselves. And I'm going to get you to do exactly that later on in this webinar so you can feel what it's like. Okay, and the way we've done it is we first of all get people to tune in, our clients to tune in to 3 burners, the 3 burning spaces. And then we differentiate them into different organs in the burning spaces. And that can give us a complete 5-element feedback on what's happening with them, okay? We find it's very easy for clients to tune in. It gets very precise information. I did one yesterday on a client, a young client who had a lot of liver stagnation. She felt the left and right of her body. She could feel the liver side was definitely more stiff. And when she went into the upper heater, she could feel the heart very tight. And that was an indication that the pericardium was kind of obstructed. So we had the pericardium and the liver both in the diagnosis. Very easy for clients to tune in. Okay, and that's the basic logic that we use. We can always get it more sophisticated, but that's an easy way to get a diagnosis. Okay, another thing that we discussed on the course is finding out whether the client is generally deficient or generally stagnated. And that's important because it will govern the whole general way that you work with them, okay? Because tonifying their energy and moving their energy is very different, okay? And the key questions, that's K-E-Y key, by the way, not K-I key. The key question is, are you better for rest? If they're better for rest, that generally means they are deficient. And if they're better for movement, that generally means that they're excess or stagnated. Okay, and that will govern the whole planning of the session. Find out what the client would like to have happen. That's a clean question, by the way. And you can decide, does a session need to be generally tonifying or generally moving? You can find out the elements. We can find out the elements involved or the meridians through the 3 burner tuning in exercise. And then remember, we did this whole session. If you've missed this session, really recommend you look back and have a look at the webinar. It's really intense. We went through all these different modalities, all 5 modalities, checking them out. And what we discovered was each one has a range of tonifying or sedating. So basically, if you want to really get that client's key moving, then doing would be the option. If they're feeling very deficient and very weak, you wouldn't really want to do that. You'd probably get them to do some internal breathing, maybe some qigong. Okay, so again, we've got a complete system there, a complete logical system of how to give recommendations. But of course, you notice that all of them have a range. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So you can use breathing to invigorate the client and move it if it's very vigorous breathing. And it's the same thing with doing. If you do it gently and you use it over points that tonify the body, you can tonify with doing. But it's just a general quality of the technique. Okay, we talked about some equipment. Those of you can remember back in the 80s, if you're as old as we are, you might remember the Mar rollers. They're a bit brutal, to be honest, because they're really hard. But that was what it was like in the 80s. You know, it was really hardcore then. Now a lot of people use tennis balls. Great, and there's a whole world of stuff. If you Google that, tennis balls, there's exercise balls. And if you want to make them into a more sophisticated thing, you put them in a sock. So you can make your own very, very inexpensively. Also, golf balls are really good for small areas, okay? And these are the ones that we use. They're duo balls, black roll duo balls. The link is on the course if you want to check them out. Okay, there's 8 centimeters and 12 centimeters. And they're a little bit firmer than tennis balls. They're quite firm, but they're a little bit of give in them. But they grip well. That's the good thing. They grip to the futon. They don't slide about too much. You can put them on against the wall. And they're definitely not as hard as a wooden Mar roller, okay? So this is what we tend to use. And we did a whole session last week, in fact. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly felt amazing afterwards. My back, I felt like I was 2 centimeters taller. Right, cool. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to find out a little bit about you as a group. And then we're going to spend about half an hour and I'm going to take you on a little journey, a little self-shiatsu session. We'll do some diagnosis and just to have an experience of the kind of things we can do with our clients, kind of things I'm sure you are doing with your clients. Okay, so what I would like to know is, do you think you are basically deficient or are you basically excess? Would you stagnated, or are you somewhere in the middle? And the question you should ask yourself is, when you know, any pains or symptoms you have, are they better when you rest, or are they better when you move about and do exercise? Okay, so I'm going to share that poll with you now. We'll get a feel for the group. Do you think you're mainly deficient, mainly stagnated, a bit of both, mostly balanced, or totally balanced? Okay, wow, look at that. We've already got one person who feels completely balanced. It must be because they've been doing these classes. You must have turned up to all of these webinars, definitely. Okay, cool. So look, we've got pretty much a balance there. We've got a little bit more people who are a little bit more deficient, but actually I think that's quite a little more balanced than you were when we did this exercise a few weeks ago. So that's really cool. So what I'll do is, when we do the self-shiatsu treatment in a minute, I'll give you some options that you can use depending on whether you feel a bit more stagnated, and then you can choose what you do. And this is what we do in our weekly class, which we set up at the Shiatsu Center here. right at the beginning of lockdown, and it's actually growing. We're actually getting a bigger class, more people signing up every week. So that's been a good way for us to get these ideas across and also share the power of Shiatsu with a big audience. So that's been a cool thing. Okay, so now we're going to do our Hara diagnosis, okay? And all you have to do is you need to get your piece of paper and your pencil or pen, okay? Divide it into 3 areas like this, okay? And what I'll do is I'll switch off the slides and I'll zoom my screen down so that you can see what I'm doing, okay? And you can do it with me. And we'll find out as a group which meridians need the most work. You want to try it? Okay. So you can actually do it sitting up if you want to, but I like to do it with the clients lying down. I hope you've got a futon somewhere you can work on yourself. Okay, so first of all, let's just tune into the 3 burners. Okay, so we're going to tune into the lower burner, first of all. Okay, get a sense of the whole of the lower burner. And now differentiate that feeling into the dantian, which by the way also goes through right into the bladder, into the uterus, into the lower back. It's that kidney key area and bladder area right in the middle of the lower burner. So you can contrast that with the feeling or the experience of the large intestine. Okay, get a sense of what they're like. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just draw in what your intestines feel like and what the kidney bladder area feels like. You might want to write a few notes about what it's like, okay? Okay. All right, it gives us an idea of the metal element and the water element in the lower burner. Okay, so now we're going to go up to the middle burner. So this is the whole area above the navel, around the diaphragm, okay? And we're just going to tune into that. Get a general feeling of the middle burner, what's it like? And now we're going to contrast the left side, which is basically the stomach, and the right side, which is more the liver, okay? Does any side, which side feels the more tense or the weak or whatever? Okay, so just going to do that. Okay, so then you can draw a picture, and this is what we do with our clients, and we do it in the class as well here, is we draw a picture generally of the whole middle burner, which for me is a little bit tense, not too bad, but a little bit tense, but see what yours is like. And then left and right. So this is my left side, stomach side. And today, for some reason, that's a little bit tighter than the other side. All right. So I've got that kind of picture. And I'm going to write just a few words on there. You write whatever you felt on yourself. Okay. So far, so good. Right. Cool. So now we're going to tune into the upper burner. And so that's the lungs and the heart. So we tune into the whole of the upper burner. What's that like? Okay, and now differentiate it between the lungs and the heart, and clients seem to have no problem doing that. So they tune into the heart, and then they tune into the lungs. Okay, and then again, of course, you can then draw that into your upper burner picture. You've got the lungs, you've got the heart, like that. So you can put some information in there. Okay. All right, so if you think about it, we've now got 2 metal elements. We've got the lungs and the large intestine. We've got the water element here. We've got the earth element represented by the stomach, the wood element represented by the liver, okay, and the fire element represented by the feeling of the heart, either the heart or the pericardium. Okay, so what I'd like to ask now is, looking at your drawing, which element would you like the most work on? Which one do you think needs the most work on? And then we can just see as a group how you are element wise, nice and simple. And we'll see, I think last time the water element came out way ahead. So let's see what's going to happen today. Yep, it's the same. The water element still wins. Not quite so far ahead, but it's still out there. Obviously, your wood energy is not too bad, so that's good as a group. Quite a lot more earth, though, I think, than we had last time. So, oh, look at that. It's catching up. That's definitely changed. You've definitely got less fear out there, less fear and less fatigue. Last time, the water element really won by a big amount. So, in the group, we've got earth and water. Okay, very good. So I'll just remember that. We can do some work on that. Cool. Okay. Right. I'm going to add one more thing in that we haven't done yet, just so that make it a little bit of interest for you. And that is heaven and earth connection. We did this with one of our classes the other week, and it was very successful class. People loved it. Okay, and it was very simple. It was basically a yin and yang test. It was to see whether people are more connected to the earth or connected to the heavens. Okay, so without doing anything, without changing anything at all, without doing anything at all, I just want you to stand, feet shoulder width apart. Okay, relax, close your eyes, and tune in first of all to your connection with the heavens. And then your connection with the earth. And what I'd like you to do to assess is, do you feel you're basically floating up like this? Or do you feel you're like you're sinking down into the earth? Okay? Do you feel like you're floating up or sinking down? Or do you feel really nicely in the middle? So just tune into that. I'll launch a poll and we'll find out whether you feel more up, floating up, not grounded in other words, or whether you feel too grounded. Okay, so let's find out how you're doing as a group with that. Okay, look at this. Okay, well, look at this. We've actually got quite a lot more down, which is exactly what happened with our class. In fact, it was even more extreme. Most of them were feeling really heavy and they weren't really connecting very much with the heavens. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do a little treatment of like 20 minutes, and then we'll see if we can get that feeling of lightness. We'll use the earth element, and we'll use the water element, and we'll see if we can get you all feeling a little bit lighter. Okay, those of you who are very high up already, don't worry about that, because you can use the exercises to increase your grounding. So let's start off with some Qigong or Douyin style exercises. Okay, I'll fit them to the group as much as possible, and I'll show you how you can modify them depending on how you're feeling. Okay, so first of all, let's use the earth element to lighten stuff up. Okay, those of you that are feeling too heavy, too grounded, we're going to open up the stomach and spleen channels, and we're going to lighten up that heavy feeling, which is associated, by the way, with the spleen. Okay, those of you who are too up, I want you to use this exercise as a way of just opening up and getting your grounding. Okay, if you're feeling very weak and deficient, I want you to use cupping, take it very slowly, use more tonifying touch. And those of you who are feeling a little bit frustrated, a little bit blocked, I want you to really get in there. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, we're going to do something very simple. We're going to just simply work down the stomach channel with Douyin. So we're going down the stomach channel. Stomach 36. Up the spleen channel. Okay, so I'm just going round. Okay, and you modify it depending on how blocked you feel you are. Okay, so you might want to be just doing this. If you need tonifying, or you might be doing this. If you need a lot of movement. Let's just go around one more time. Okay, very good. Okay. Now we're going to use kidney 1. The reason for that is because kidney 1's on the kidney meridian, which is obviously the water element, but it's also one of the strongest earthing points in the body. So whether you're floating up or down, you've got to get that kidney 1 open. So this is something we do in the class a lot. We do with the clients a lot. We can do working it like this, opening up the foot. Okay, and I'm opening up the top of the foot, so I'm opening up the stomach channel here. Okay, got stomach 44, stomach 45, the ankle. Now, if you're feeling like you need a bit more stimulation, you can use Doin on the kidney 1. Now, if you're deficient, you want to cup it and keep it quite light. And imagine you're gathering the chi up and putting it in there. If you need stronger stimulation, you can use the loose fist. Okay, if you're very delicate, you can just use fingertips. Okay, but we're just going to get that kidney 1 energized, as it's such a powerful earthing point. Okay, the other thing which will be good to do is use spleen 3. Okay, if you know where that is, that's right here. I'll show you on my foot without the sock on so you can see. Spleen 3, this point's very good for the back, and it's also very good for lightening the whole body. Okay, because the spleen can be involved in heaviness. And if you've got earth element and you've got a client who's feeling heavy and you've got earth element in there, I would definitely work the spleen channel, get them to work it using self-shiatsu techniques, holding. Okay, and in a minute we'll do some interoception and get you to visualize the stomach and spleen channels. But for the moment, let's just do some self-shiatsu, working the points. Okay, that feels pretty good. Let's do the other foot. Okay, same thing again. So we can open up that kidney 1. Opening up the top of the foot. I'm working the stomach channel there. Using Doin on the round kidney 1. Self-shiatsu on the spleen channel, spleen 3. Okay, very good. So now, this is something we do all the time, and I do this with the clients, and I'm sure you do it the same, is to get them to self-assess. All right, so I bet you already we're going to have quite a bit of change here. Look, we stand up, relax, and now check out your connection with the earth. Okay, you'll feel that energized feeling down the stomach and spleen channels. Your ankles feel open, kidney 1 feels open, and you've got a nice healthy connection with the earth. If you're feeling too heavy before, you'll notice that your legs feel lighter and you get that feeling of lifting up from the floor. And that's the spleen holding things up in your body. Spleen 3 is very, very effective for that. Okay. So that's a really nice feeling already, isn't it, in the earth element. So let's continue with some work on the bladder meridian. We'll work bladder and kidney meridian. So let's just check out the legs first, and then we'll move up into the head and see if we can release the head. Okay, so let's just do some Doin here. Again, modified depending on how you're feeling. But we're going to tap kidney 3 and continue that feeling up the kidney channel. up to kidney 10. And then at the back, the kidney channel. And then we're going to go down the bladder channel. Okay, and up the kidney channel. Okay, down the bladder channel. Let's just go to the kidney channel one more time. Okay, again, modifying the tapping depending on whether you're feeling a bit weak or whether you're feeling like you need a bit of stimulation there. Brushing off. Okay, excellent. Okay, now if you've got water element in the diagnosis, especially if you're feeling deficient, you've definitely got to do some lower abdominal breathing and some tonifying the kidney chi because it's the center of the whole energy field. So let's rub our hands together. Okay. And place our hands over the dantian. So that's just below the navel. Yeah. And we're just going to use this technique. It's a good all-purpose technique for tonifying the chi. We're going to rotate around the dantian, keep the arms, keep the shoulders relaxed. Breathing into the lower back. So what I'm doing is I'm breathing into this whole area here, and I'm bringing the chi from the hands into the dantian. Very good. Okay, we just keep doing that until you still feel the chi starting to energize the lower hara. And then we can do some work on the back like this. If you can relax your arms enough to work the bladder 23. Okay, and now I'm imagining the chi going in this way because what I want it to connect so the whole lower hara feels nice and supported. Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good. Okay. So now check this out. Right. Standing again. Okay. And this time, check your connection with the earth. You should feel stronger here, lifted up by the spleen and stomach, nicely opened. So you've got a nice relationship with the earth. Time to check out the connection with the heavens. And a lot of that depends on the base of the cranium, the extension of the spine, all water element kind of stuff, right? So let's start off by doing some work on the head. We're going to just do some doing again on the head. We're going to doing on the bladder channel. So we're going to tapping along here on the bladder channel. Okay. And we're going to work the bladder channel on the neck. Okay, nice technique is to link your hands like this and to squeeze them along the bladder channel there. Okay, bladder 10 is this point. So don't forget the direction is in towards the neck. You can do self shiatsu on that, and then we'll show you how to use the exercise balls in a minute to really get a really great technique for the bladder 10. And go down, and then we're going to go down into here. Okay, now we've got a problem here because unless you're very good at yoga, you can't really get all the way here. So we're going to do some work with the exercise balls in a moment, but let's see as much as we can do, which is working the bladder here, okay, and then like this. Down onto the buttocks, and down to the sacrum, okay. Okay, very good, okay. Now, already probably feels better. Let's just check it out. Standing. Feel that release there, that bladder 10 release. Now look, if you just let your head float up, lovely connection with the heavens, even after about 5 minutes work on the bladder channel. Really nice. Nicely balanced by the energizing of the earth element. Okay, so looking really good. So let's do a little bit of work on the mat now. The kind of thing you might do with the client, especially if they're a little bit weaker. Maybe they are a little bit older or something and you want to do some more self-shiatsu type techniques. So what I normally do with the clients is I'll work with them and I'll actually do it with them. That's the bit I love the best, because you get a shiatsu yourself, self-shiatsu yourself. Always good. So continuing with the theme that we have, which is earth and water elements, we're going to do a little bit of self-shiatsu, and then if you've got any exercise balls or tennis balls, I'll show you how you can use those similar to what we did last week. All right, so how about doing this kind of thing? Let's get some even more chi into the lower hara by using some points. And this is my favorite technique for working the yin meridians of the legs. Just get the client to rest their leg on the other leg. And if I take my sock off, you can see a bit clearer like this. Yeah. Very easy to work a connection between kidney 1 and kidney 3. And now we're going to do something quite different. We're going to get the client, or that's you and me, to start tuning internally into the meridian. And what we can do is do it through a visualization, holding kidney 1 and kidney 3, and then closing our eyes and turning our attention inwards until we can feel the pressure of kidney 1 connected to kidney 3. And you want to balance that pressure out until you can feel it nice and even. Okay, and now you can imagine that connection extending up through the lower leg and into the hip, relaxing my left hip a bit. Okay, this is the kind of thing you can use if you've got lower back pain or weakness in the sacrum, assuming that they can get into this position. Okay, so did you get that? You get that feeling? You might want to spend a little bit longer with your clients, showing them how to feel that. And what I sometimes do is get them to visualize the channel first before using the self-shiatsu. Okay, so let's do the other foot. Yeah, so we've got kidney 3, kidney 1. Let's get that internal feeling again. Got it? Connecting. And then up to the knee, into kidney 10, and then up through into the hip, into kidney 11, which is right here on the top of the pubic bone, if you didn't know where that was. Okay, very nice. And again, checking to see what that's like. If you now relax your legs down, tune into kidney 1 and kidney 3 on both legs, and you should feel like a tingling feeling from those points going up through the internal aspects of your legs. And that shows that you've opened up those channels. Okay, it's very encouraging for the clients to feel that kind of thing. Very good. So let's just do some work on the upper body on the mat. And we'll use the exercise balls. If you haven't got exercise balls, it's absolutely fine. I'll show you a different variation. If you've got some tennis balls, that's fine. Okay. Now, remember last week I showed you how to use the exercise balls to work the gallbladder channel. The gallbladder channel gets worked pretty much with the 12 centimeter balls. You can even turn the head if you really want to get it stronger into gallbladder 20. As you're an earth and water focus group, let's use these ones, or a couple of tennis balls or even golf balls, just nestling them in there, and that will give you stimulation of bladder 10. Just kind of squeeze it into the neck nicely. Okay. Now you can start doing that. If it's too much for the client, you can take some of the pressure off by bringing the pillow there, so some of the weight is taken off the durable. I'm going to put it full on. I'm absolutely happy to have that stimulation there. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of relax, and we're going to open up the channel using our minds. All right, now if you haven't got any exercise balls, that's absolutely fine. I would just use a pillow and use your thumbs onto bladder 10. Okay, works just the same, and you can do it without any help. Okay, this way though we can relax our arms down, and I'm going to adjust the pressure by how much weight I'm bringing down onto those balls. Okay, and I'm going to open up the bladder channel with my mind, so I'm thinking down through the back, okay, and as soon as you've got that feeling all the way down to your little toe, then we can start increasing the stimulation. And if you've got any more tennis balls, you can put them on bladder 23. This is one of my favorite techniques. I love this one. Okay, put this onto bladder 23. You can adjust the weight again by balancing your weight up and down by lifting up your hips. Just get it right on there. Okay, and then the advantage of this is you can get pressure onto two places, particularly in the lower back, which is very difficult to do with self-shiatsu unless you've got very flexible arms and you haven't got any shoulder problems. This way, if the client's got shoulder problems, they can relax the shoulders and adjust it. Just a little bit too low there. I'm just going to go up a bit. That's it. Okay. And then what we can do is we can actually connect the 2 points, bladder 10 and bladder 23. Okay, I'm using my mind internally to connect them along the channels. And I can actually feel it having an effect on my mid-thoracic. Just that connection through the spine is starting to adjust some of the vertebrae in the thoracic there. Okay, and now I can work down into the lower lumbar here by rolling the 12 centimeter durable further down. This is a large intestine U point, funnily enough, and that's actually really good for me because I had a bit of metal element there when I did my scans. And then we can go further down onto the sacrum, which is a very nice technique. Again, look, I can go really strong by bringing my legs up, so there's more weight going down, or I can make it very light by bringing my hips up, so you can adjust it a lot. Okay, it's a little bit strong on my bladder 10, so I'm going to take that off with a pillow. I'm going to go down a bit more. Okay, a lot of internal work going on here. I'm connecting up the points. Obviously, you're getting compression of the connective tissue, but the main thing you want to do is turn it into an energetic experience by using your mind to open up the channel. It's a very much a combination of pressure and the channel experience is created by the client connecting them up. Okay, so let's see. Nice. Okay, it feels good. Going down the sacrum, right down to the end of the sacrum now. And I go down to bladder 36. So I'm getting pretty much a complete workout of the bladder channel here. Nice, really comfortable stimulation of bladder 10, keeping the bladder channel open all the way down. Now I'm working a little bit down through the bladder channel. And put it under bladder 40. Great point again for the lower back. You see that? And what I'm doing is the durables. If I'll just show you if I just see how the durables is fitting underneath my knee there. Okay, on bladder 40. And again, look, I can increase the pressure by arching my body up to get it stronger and weaker, or stronger and lighter. Actually, that feels very, very good. Got to really relax into it, creating those connections. Bladder 57. Just bladder 57. So this is really kind of very hard to do when you're doing self-shiatsu without any exercise balls, because you just can't get the connection between the distal points so strongly because you've only got two hands. This is the advantage of this, is you can have 4 points of contact. Okay, I'm going to go down, and this is one of my favorite techniques. This is a life changer. I did this the other week and I thought, oh my God, I feel 2 centimeters taller. Okay, so this is like right bladder 60, which is obviously a very powerful point for the back. Bladder 10, what a great combination. Look, even if you just put light pressure on, open the bladder channel all the way down. Okay, and if you want it super strong, I could do this. This is like really, really deep penetration, or I can relax down like that and have it just really nice and light, just exactly what you need. Okay, and then a little bit of a roll on kidney 1, just to open up the kidney channel, and we're done. Okay, cool. Right, excellent. So now it's time to reassess. Okay, so we're going to do the main reassessment we're going to do is just to see how you feel in terms of connecting up and down. You can also check out the burners, check out the areas, just see how different we feel now. Okay, standing. You feel the whole spine's opened up, the head's floating up. Really nice, easy connection with the heavens, nothing too extreme. And just check out your legs now. Look, we've worked the bladder and the stomach and spleen channels. A lot of work on the back and also the soles of the foot. So hopefully you're getting that nice feeling of a kind of good connection with the earth, but not too heavy, a kind of lighter feeling of groundedness, okay? And those of you who are feeling too heavy, you can just release the base of the cranium, let that head float up, really enjoy that feeling of your back stretching out. Those of you that were too up, open up that kidney 1 and get that feeling of being nicely balanced there between heaven and earth. Okay, very good. Just shake out. Very good. So let's have some reactions in the chat. Let's see whether you like that or not. That's a kind of a mixture of different things, kind of typical of a general kind of session you might do with your clients. Yep. So, and we can have some questions now if you like. I've got a few more slides. Let me just bring them up. Okay, so we've got all of the burners. Yeah, let's have some thumbs up if you feel better, taller. Yeah, fantastic, great. Okay, so there we go. Look, tonifying, sedating. It's great to do it yourself because then you feel, you can share it with your clients. Okay, just to let you know that waiting for you online, you've got replay of all the webinars, and we'll put this one on as well if you want to revisit the course. We've got slides from our client support class in case you want to run your own class or you want some ideas. We've got a video of an early online session I did with a client, and you'll see that I record. It was one of my first Zoom recordings, so you see what it's like on the front end there, on the front. We've got some forms that we use. We've got some forms we've developed for our sessions, and we've also got links to the Balens if you're in the UK, but something you should check out for your own work in the your insurance. Okay, Balens do cover you for this type of work. And then we've got quizzes, and they are part of the learning experience, the quizzes. It's not like a test. It's more of an idea just to see how you've understood the material, and they really help you. You'll notice that there's responses on the quizzes, so it's part of the learning experience. Okay, great. So Jane felt much better. She was very up before. And you see, we found it really effective with our clients and with our class particularly. They really responded well to this. And I had some feedback from one of my clients that for the rest of the week, she was just checking every now and then just to see whether she was too heavy and too light. And in our class, we had a lot of people felt too heavy, and we kind of thought that was to do with emotional factors. Everyone's feeling kind of a little bit sluggish, because of the lockdown in the UK. So using the spleen to hold people up and using the bladder meridian and the kidney meridian to get that connection through the body is really effective for that. Okay, great. Let's have a look. What about if you have a stomach ache and you can't get up from the chair? Let's have a look at some of the questions. I'm going to actually look at the questions. Yep, absolutely. If you've got people who are not feeling well, okay, and you're working with them, then obviously you do whatever you can. You can have them sitting down or whatever. But the process is the same. You want to get some information about meridians, and you want to get some information about the meridians, and also just assess to see what kind of stomach ache that is. Whatever symptom you have, you really want to find out what kind of thing it is. The other thing I often do with things like that is, I've done that with several clients, is I get them to hold the pain. If it's a stomach ache, hold it, get them to check the channels, see if they can actually find points. And within a 1 hour session, I've been able to successfully get clients to actually feel subos along the channels to relieve things like stomach pain. And I've had a lot of success with chest pains related to stress, working the pericardium channel, again, getting them to tune in internally, taking it really slow, and just finding those points for themselves. Really works well. Okay, yeah. Right, let's have a look at some of the questions. Patricia couldn't find the webinar recordings on the website. They are in the course. These are in the actual online course, and we'll give you a link to that in a moment. The actual webinar recordings are all there, and they're on the menu. They are there. Just have to have a little look around. The stomach ache I've done. Working with a client today, it's difficult to get to connect with the burners. It's not always easy for people who are not aware of their bodies. Absolutely right. It isn't. And that's where we found the class is really useful. Okay. Sometimes it is more difficult. And also it depends. That in itself, though, can be a diagnostic sign. For example, I was working with one of my regular clients. She had an accident recently. She fell off a ladder. She was in a kind of shock. She was really fatigued and she was kind of dissociated. And she's usually quite good at tuning into her body, but she was finding it very difficult. So if people find it really difficult to tune into the body, it could be because they're kind of dissociated. And there's a lot of that around at the moment because of the way the nervous system is reacting to the whole COVID situation. So you want to take it really easy with them and don't, just say, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it, and then you just have to make an educated guess by listening to the sound of their voice, doing a bit of visual diagnosis, okay? And then take them on a little journey, get them to close their eyes, get them to breathe into different parts of their body. And you can use that as a barometer of how successful the session is, because I bet you anything you like, after 50 minutes or 45 minutes of your guided imagery inside the body, they will be much more in touch. And when you ask them to, at the end of the session, to feel different parts of the body, they'll go, oh yes, I can feel it. It feels blah, blah, blah. You see? So you can use that as a barometer and not as a thing, oh no, I don't know what to do because I can't feel it. So now what have we got? Have you worked with elder clients? Yes, I certainly have. I've worked with all sorts of ages of clients. Absolutely. Yeah, obviously you have to change the type of techniques you do mainly breathing and sitting and acupressure for older clients, especially if they're tired and everything. Okay, I think that's it. Marion wants to know about the slides of the webinars. I don't know if we put all the slides in. I think we put the slides of the classes in, but I'm not sure. We'll have a check. We'll check that out for you if you want that. If you'd like to download them, that would be fine. We can do that. Right, so good. We've got 5 minutes left. I've got quite a lot of news to give you. So I think we'll perhaps do that now. Fantastic. We've got 100 people on this webinar. That's absolutely incredible, isn't it? This has been such a fun course. It's been really amazing. So let's just put the slides back up and I'll just, okay, yeah. So they're all the things that are on the course and we'll have a look and check out in case we want to have the slides. This is where the course actually is. You can find it by going to newenergywork.com, looking on your dashboard, and you'll see it there. It's called Creating Shiatsu Treatments Online. Okay, and we can always email that to you if you like, if you can't find it yourself. If you've got any problems with the course, just get in touch with us. Finding the course, get in touch with us. We are working all the time to make it easy as possible to find everything. Okay, but you need to sign into the site. That's the first thing. Okay, so graduation. Not graduated yet. Wish you could. Would like to get that certificate. Okay, you still can. Okay, today we're going to close the forum on the actual course, but that doesn't mean you can't complete the course. If you do have any questions and you really would like to get in touch with us, you can go to the New Energy Work Community Forum, because that's where we put the questioning area once the courses are over. Because this is our new policy now. We're keeping the courses really kind of short, really live, as active as possible, and then we're kind of archiving them, not exactly archiving, but they'll be there on New Energy Work for you if you want to complete them at a later date, and you need those hours. Okay, but it's totally cool if you don't want to. If you just want to come in, look at a few webinars, get a few ideas, there's no pressure on that. But some people like to have the CPD thing. Now the thing is, I was going to do a shout out to all the people that had graduated, because I thought, yeah, it'd be nice. There'd probably be like 10 people. Okay, listen to this, people. There were an hour ago, there were 65 people who had completed this course. It's a massive list. I couldn't possibly read it all out. Thank you so much, all those people that have gone through the course and graduated. And it's still there for those of you who haven't. Please do that. If you'd like to write us a review, we've switched that on now, by the way. That you'll find that in your email when you complete the course. Reviews really help us because it gives encouragement to other people to try out the course, assuming they're good reviews, of course. If there's anything you don't like, let us know first. Okay, so we've got some cool upcoming events. Next week, same time, we've got a webinar with Subuk, and we love those people. There's Nicholas and Carla. They're such wonderful people. They're doing an amazing thing with their app. And we're going to have a whole hour with them, find out about their story, see how cool it is. And also there is going to be a webinar only offer as well at the end if you want to just become part of their community and get hold of their app. It's highly recommended. And we've also got another course. Okay, after that, on June the 23rd, we've got another course like this, a 4-week course. And this is kind of a little bit controversial because I know we upset quite a few people, especially in certain countries, by having this distant shiatsu healing thing going on at the beginning of lockdown. So we've changed the wording now. We're calling it distance healing for shiatsu practitioners, okay? So we don't have the shiatsu word in there. But if you really want to know how to do distance healing, or maybe you want to improve your distance healing using the shiatsu method, then maybe you'd like to check in. We're going to have some special guests. It's going to be similar to this course. A lot of fun, a lot of practical work, and it's something that we do a lot of. I've been doing it for years and developed various techniques, and also we've got some other interesting people to come in on that. Okay, and then if you're a shiatsu teacher, we've got summer school coming up. We've got in August, we've got again another 4-week course over the summer on teaching shiatsu, because one of the things we found out when we did polls and we started to talk to teachers internationally about how to take their work online was there wasn't really a lot of teacher training out there, like proper solid teacher training. And we'd like to share some of the stuff we know about how you can really inspire your students and design your courses. So tons of really fun stuff coming up there. I've actually got a link. You should be taken to the Subuk webinar link after this webinar. If you don't, go to newenergywork.com. We'll send out an email anyway. And here is actually the link. I'm going to share it to you so you can register. Okay. But you can always go to newenergywork.com and just check out the link there, and we'll email it to you anyhow. All right. So yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun next Tuesday. Definitely love to see you there.
That's 6, the Subuk one.
6 o'clock, yeah, the same time as this one. Yeah, and there they are, Nicholas and Carla. They are really cool people, and we're going to have a lot of fun with them. Okay, so that's our hour up. I can't believe it, Dinah. It's gone so quickly.
Yes, it will be recorded,
really
Adrienne. I haven't time to type.
Yeah, Yes, yeah, they're all recorded. All the webinars are recorded, and we try and do it. And this is what Suba looks like, just to give you a bit of a.
Biggie, maybe the ESC is going to be partly online and partly live, if possible.
Yeah, we're working on a hybrid event for that. And in fact, if you want to check in, we've got our ESC webinar straight after this one, half an hour's time. If you want to check in with that, yeah. And just a reminder, if you really enjoyed the course, you maybe download the certificate and you haven't donated any money yet, we really would appreciate any support you can give us. 10 euros pays for a webinar and 50 euros pays for an entire course, okay, and for an 8-hour certificated course. So we hope that's, if you have got any money at all, we'd like...
Pascal, sorry, can I just say about certificates? Yeah. I've updated the certificate with all the details. If you've got your certificate too early, so you haven't got the details, you need to go to my account beside your sign-in, your login. And then on the left of the page, Pascal, you'll see your certificate and you can view it. You should be able to find it there. If not, mail us.
Yeah, if you have, because we did have to update the certificates because the Swiss people have particular requirements, but we'll know next time, okay? But if you're happy with the certificate you've got, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, get in touch with us. Okay, so donate buttons on newenergywork.com. We'd love it if you can help us financially just to keep the lights on here. We'd love that. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next live event. Okay, if you need any help, go to support or email us at admin@newenergywork.com. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Dinah. It's been a great webinar, great course. I think it's a record. I don't think we've ever had so many people graduate from a course before. So it really makes it, makes it worthwhile for us putting the energy in. Okay, lovely. Hopefully maybe see you at the ESC webinar in half an hour. Otherwise, see you next Tuesday at the SUBOOK webinar at 6 o'clock. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.